Lethality masked in a humble design, subversion of attention, substitution of style for fire rate, the ultimate weapon of war, but only in the hands of the most masterful artists.
Oh, I capped him!
Hi. Six Snipes here, and truthfully, I come to you today with huge news, because really, I've done 21 gun guides for Insurgency alone. This series can legally drink, but nothing in the long history of reviewing weapons stats and trivial fire range penetration tests has prepared you or this channel for the gun I'm bringing you today. That's right, the gun you've all been waiting for, that which has defined warfare and video games as we know it. Now, finally, taking a look at the magnum opus of Insurgency Sandstorm, this is the Welrod, and you are watching Gun Guide. The Mark IIA Welrod derives from a short-lived series of weaponry designed for the most covert of warfare during the Second World War. The information around on the web isn't exactly abundant regarding operation or history, neither is it particularly accurate. As a matter of fact, the wiki page has more than a few discrepancies with virtually every other source I've seen, but if you want an accurate breakdown, somebody with much more experience than me did an awesome job covering it and several other Sandstorm models from the real world in a video for GameSpot.
I tip my hat to you. One legend to another.
But for the sake of the rundown, more or less what we're looking at here is probably a piece of an actual broom handle cut out to fit the features of both a grip and a detachable magazine, which, if that isn't weird enough, operates off of a rudimentary bolt chambered in a small caliber dampened by an array of rubber fittings, which often degrade after the first 2 magazines or so of rounds. Either primary renditions fire subsonic, despite the fact that one of the 2 is chambered in 9mm while the other a 32. Regardless of technicality or model, however, the truth is that this gun is every bit the accurate interpretation of the real-world equivalent. In fact, next to Brad Pitt himself, it is perhaps responsible for the most killings of Nazi officers behind the lines during the Second World War. Primarily because crates of these were airdropped to be discovered by citizens of several German-occupied nations, as well as generally being used by the more elite sniper members of Her Majesty's armies. You may recall that the famous U.S. General and strategist George Patton at the time regarded the Garand as the greatest battle implement ever designed. Well, upon laying eyes on the Welrod, Winston Churchill famously stated, "Lamouche, it's more beautiful than your mom and way quieter too." Even Helen Keller remarked that she couldn't even hear a thing. See, the lethality of this firearm is all within the noise, all 73 decibels to be precise, which to the uninitiated may sound like a fair bit, but is exactly 12 giant leaps below the audio of other suppressed guns, quieter than even some of the tested models of CO2-powered pellet guns and regarded by many professionals as Hollywood quiet. In real life, this gun probably makes less noise than your airsoft replicas. Entirely inaudible from 15 feet away alone, the designers themselves credited the most effective use to be directly in contact with the target, where it would be in an average environment almost impossible to hear by the user. Maybe now you begin to understand why this gun is truly the most animal of secondaries out there in Sandstorm. Several blatant advantages in comparison to other secondaries makes this my pick over that Glock or 226 any day of the week. First and foremost, it's perhaps best to break down the core functionality. The Welrod, contrary to popular belief, has 2 modes of fire, one of which entails obviously shooting and cycling the bolt. To do so again, this will of course launch around at a velocity sufficient to kill a target after some repetition. Most people, however, get stuck in a vicious cycle of crutching on this and ignoring the middle click function, which, while lacking in range or penetration, has no damage fall off or arc whatsoever, making it the most accurate of the 2 firing modes. In fact, within sufficient ranges, it is easily the most effective of the 2 and highly advisable in close quarter scenarios if you haven't yet mastered the art of the quickscope kill. Perhaps the most advantageous is that it, of course, consumes no ammo whatsoever, so you should try it out. Otherwise, the primary mode, unlike every other handguns, while slightly slower in fire rate, has the insane benefit of attachments otherwise exclusive to primary weapons weapons assisting it. That's right, not only can a laser be present on the gun, but a bipod, grip, both, and even a base level holographic optic including the low magnification scope PKAS be compatible with the Welrod, and with the common knowledge that the attachments make just about any gun into a sniper rifle, it's a wonder why more people don't use this. Of course, while a bipod may be an option and some of you may be tempted to use that, or a foregrip pod combo, I forego that every time in favor of the ability to field both a quick draw grip and quick draw holsters simultaneously, making this gun the fastest draw in the West, or Middle East as it were. All of these facets together have cooperated to the semblance of a geometry never before seen in any shooter, much less Insurgency alone. A weapon so powerful yet conducive to the usage by the most elite operators. Much like Battlefield 4's Phantom Bow, this is a gun which should by every sane standard be locked to only the highest of intellects, resulting in gameplay naturally taking the course of advanced strategies such as bushwhacky, sniper hunter, and of course the classic making friends with enemies. The true magic of this gun is perhaps the unbreakable bond of friendship between users. I and an enemy player set aside our differences and went our ways as we each recognize the other as a true man of culture. Overall, the performance is nothing but stellar. Many complain about the 6-round magazine capacity, and I would too point out that while odd, it does make sense why they wouldn't just depict it with its traditional 50-round drum mag. Even so, just reloading before going into action means you chamber an extra round and reach the overwhelming capacity of one 1911, making you on even grounds with virtually every primary in the game anyways, so no harm, no foul. No real gamers should have an issue, seeing as if one bullet doesn't equate to one kill for you, you just aren't playing hard enough. As a matter of fact, I can't think of a single instance where one bullet didn't sink the entire career of an enemy within moments. And while regular ammunition was fine, as if this gun wasn't enough, it also features 9mm ammo variations not even found on primaries such as the MP5. That's right, you can use tracers, but not just tracers. The Welrod is stupidly enough so powerful it doesn't even need the armor-piercing rounds given to it for a mere 3 credits, enabling you to go from 1 shot, 1 kill, to at least 2 kills with a single shot. And if that doesn't prove that this is just the most absurd gun in the game, nothing will. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is perhaps the most revolutionary piece of technology, an entire renaissance of warfare, and a singular pistol. Whether you want to yeehaw on the kids with the fastest draw in the West, or use a ghillie suit and set up shop in the back and cross-map idiots, this is the perfect weapon. Slap on a cheap secondary like the M1 Garand, and you really do have a primary ready to take you places, and an okay backup plan suitable for backing you up if you must switch off. So in conclusion, I would say that bar none, this is not only my favorite gun in SANDSTORM, but it's the most effective tool, especially for one with a 0 credit price tag. I shudder to think what the entire United States Army would have to do if terrorists were actually using this in real life. There's a very accurately depicted result where at the start of the hideout map you can find the aftermath of a Welrod ambush, and really they didn't stand a chance. So yeah, at this point it goes without saying, go use the Welrod. You'll see a lot of haters and people who really don't know how to operate literally any gun but a Glock 17 down in the comments try to troll and tell you this isn't good because they can't stand the sight of a gun that doesn't look like it was rendered with PS2 graphics, and honestly, just don't listen to them. I've learned to ignore them myself, and life is much easier now. A device of devastation. A sledgehammer, if you will. The noise level of a mouse, combined with the effect of a whole team of Navy SEALs, all within the grasp of your hand. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank you all for hearing me out and congratulating you on finding your next primary. I wish you a very successful and intense play session lasting for hours upon hours of dishing out the hurt. Now, if you're interested at all, you can join my Discord with the link in the description down below, where I've just added yet another one of my very own custom emojis, this time in celebration of the strongest gun the fanbase has ever seen. I'm probably looking at making a guide on the rest of the handguns, even if they are are more or less redundant at this point, but that's neither here nor there. Until then, I'm Six Snipes, using the almighty Welrod. And as always, you've been watching Gun Guide. I'll see you out there in Sandstorm.